Kunle had always dreamed of owning his own shop, and for years he saved every naira from the small corner where he used to sew in front of his uncle's provision store. He was tired of hearing his uncle say Tailor where they beg for tread no fit, so Abada for king. Kunle wanted his own place, a big one, where customers would walk in and smell the fresh scent of ironed fabrics, where he would be addressed as a tailor and not Klee. I beg come help me fix zip. And so the day he found the 3 connected shops, he couldn't believe his luck. The place was really spacious. The rent was cheaper than any single shop he had seen, and it was located right on the main road where everybody passed. The caretaker, who was an old man with a face like dried pepper, smiled too easily, which Kunle found strange. But since cheap things sweeten the heart, Kunle ignored every sign. The caretaker said, "See is this place day fine. If you miss this chance now, your village people day walk o." And Kunle's heart melted like butter. He did not even negotiate the price. He paid on the spot, grinning like a goat that just saw fresh yam peel. The very first week he opened, business started booming. He had painted the walls yellow and blue. He placed mannequins in front of the shop, dressed like they were ready for a Lagos fashion show. And he even bought a small speaker that played music from morning till night. His machine danced like a hungry dancer, and customers kept trooping in. Mothers brought their daughters clothes for weddings. Men brought their abadas for parties. The buzz was exciting. For the first time, Kunle felt respected. His friends would pass by and hail him. "Chairman Tailor. Big man." Even his uncle stopped calling him to run errands. But at night, the place was too quiet. The shop sat right next to the city cemetery, a wide, quiet land fenced with rusted iron bars. During the day, you barely noticed it. But by 10 p.m., Kunle could hear the crickets and silence fighting for space. One evening, just as he was closing shop, he noticed someone standing beside the fence. A figure. Still. Watching. Kunle squinted into the darkness. "Hello," he called. No response. He stepped out into the night, walked toward the fence, but the figure was gone. Was it real? Or was he just tired? He shook his head, locked his shop, and told himself he was overthinking. But he would see the figure again. And next time, it would knock on his door. One night, just as Kunle was closing his shop, a quiet man in native wear knocked and begged him to sew an agbada urgently for burial the next morning. Though tired, Kunle agreed because the pay was good. The man acted strange and didn't say much. By morning, the man never returned, and neither did the agbada. It was around 9:30 p.m., and Kunle was just about to switch off his small Bluetooth speaker when he heard a knock on the door. At first, he thought it was a mistake. Who would be looking for a tailor this late? The knock came again. This time, slower, like the person wasn't sure if they wanted to knock in the first place. Kunle opened the door halfway and saw a tall man wearing an old but clean native outfit, brown kaftan with embroidery. "Good evening," the man said quietly. Kunle nodded. "Oga, a beg I want close. Na only one me day run the shop." "I know," the man said, gently placing a transparent nylon bag on the table inside. "I need you to help me sew this agbada for tomorrow morning. Burial. I go pay you double. Just make him sharp." Kunle looked at the bag. The fabric was pure white damask, expensive and clean. He hesitated. He was tired, and something about the man was odd. He didn't smile. He didn't sit. He didn't ask for price. "Who dembury?" Kunle asked. The man just looked at him and replied, "You no need know. Just help me." That answer didn't sit right with Kunle, but double pay is double pay. "No walla. Come back tomorrow morning 8 a.m., Kunle said. The man nodded and walked out without another word. That night, Kunle didn't even go home. He stayed and worked. By 2 a.m., the agbada was complete, pressed and folded perfectly. He placed it on the table and slept inside the shop. But by morning no one came. 8 a.m. passed. 9 a.m. 12 noon. Kunle even stepped outside and looked left and right. Nothing. He waited till evening. No call, no message, and no sign of the strange man. He picked up the agbada to check the contact note. Nothing. No number. No name. Just a blank form paper. Kunle looked at the outfit and sighed. "Maybe na Yahoo boy," he muttered. He hung the agbada at the back of the shop, planning to wait one more day. But that outfit would never be picked up. And soon, it wouldn't be the only one. The agbada remains unclaimed. Then, another customer places an urgent order, also at night, and the same thing happens. The clothes are never picked up. When Kunle jokes about it to the caretaker, the old man warns him not to sew for just anybody. Kunle brushes it off, but deep down he's worried. 3 days passed. The white Agbada still hung quietly behind Kunle's machine, untouched. He didn't know what to do with it. He didn't want to sell it or wear it. Something about it just felt off. Then it happened again. Another customer came late in the evening, this time a woman. She said her husband had a court case the next day and needed a senator-style outfit urgently. Just like the last one, she paid without bargaining and left quickly. Kunle worked through the night again. And again, by morning, no one came to pick it. This time, Kunle folded the cloth and left it on the counter. Later that day, the caretaker passed by to collect some water bills from other shop tenants. Kunle called him over and joked, "Oga, I hope say you no day send your ghost friends come give me contract way dim, no go collect again." The old man, who always smiled, suddenly became serious. He leaned in close and said, "You never ask who day where weddin' you day so." And Kunle laughed awkwardly. The caretaker tapped the table twice and said, "No be all money good. No be every cloth holy." Then he walked away slowly. Kunle tried to shake it off, but the words stayed in his mind. Later that night, as he locked the shop, he glanced at the Agbada again, and for a moment, he could have sworn it wasn't hanging exactly how he left it. He stared. The window was closed. The fan was off. He locked up and went home. But for the first time, he didn't sleep well. Kunle notices a pattern. Orders made late or from unknown people are never picked up. Even worse, rumors begin to spread that his shop is collecting customers. Kunle's business starts to slow down as neighbors grow suspicious. Kunle started keeping track. In just 2 weeks, he had sewn 5 full outfits that nobody came to pick. Each one had come from a customer that visited in the late hours. None left a name or proper address. One Sunday, while sweeping his shop, Kunle heard 2 girls passing by whispering, "Not this tailor I hear say day sew cloth for dead people low. Show no talk him loud." Kunle stepped outside and called out, "What a noon talk." They quickly walked away. That evening, one of the regular customers, a woman named Mama Ife, came to pick her daughter's birthday dress. As Kunle handed it over, she looked at the unclaimed outfits stacked behind him. "You day do burial clothes now?" she asked, half joking. "No." Kunle laughed nervously. "Now some people no come collect their cloth." Be careful, oh. This place get history," she said and walked away. That word again, history. What history? When Kunle looked across the street, he saw the wide cemetery gates. Brown and rusted. Dead silent. For the first time, he closed shop early. But business was slowing down. Fast. And Kunle began to fear that he didn't just rent a shop. Maybe something else came with it. One night, as Kunle works alone, he hears faint sounds, like voices, from the sewing machine itself. He tries to ignore it, thinking it's stress. But when his apprentice hears it too the next day, he starts to panic. It was a Thursday night. The street was quiet. Kunle had stayed behind to fix a last-minute blouse for a regular customer. As he worked, he noticed the machine making a soft shhhhhh sound, unusual, but not alarming. He paused, listened. Nothing. He started sewing again. Then came the whisper. A low, hushed voice, like someone trying to speak through cloth. He immediately stopped the machine and looked around. The fan was off. The speaker was off. He walked to the back of the shop, checked the windows. Everything was in place. "Maybe I too-day tire," he said to himself, and went home. But the next day, as his apprentice David helped stitch some school uniforms, the boy suddenly paused and looked at the machine. "Uncle Kunle, you hear that?" Kunle's heart dropped. "Hear weddin'?" Something like person day talk small inside the machine. Kunle smiled too quickly. "Nah breeze. No worry." But deep down he was scared. What kind of tailor shop had he opened? And who, or what, was trying to talk through thread? After another strange night, David, the apprentice, quits. He says he had a dream where the mannequins walked around the shop. Kunle laughs, but becomes uneasy when he finds one of the mannequins facing the wrong way the next morning. David didn't come on Friday. Or Saturday. By Sunday evening, Kunle went to his house. The boy's mother met him at the door. He say he no day go that shop again. He say he see things for dream. Kunle blinked. What'd he see? She looked around before whispering. He say your dummy mannequin move in the night. Kunle laughed loudly, trying to play it off. Children and their dreams. but inside his chest tightened. That night, Kunle went back to the shop to prove himself wrong. He turned off all lights, locked up as usual, and went home. Next morning, when he opened the shop, one of the mannequins, the female one in yellow lace, was facing the wall. He was sure he left it facing the road. He stared for a long time, then quietly turned it back around, and said nothing. Market women had always been a source of warmth on the street. Their gossip was loud, their laughter even louder, and Kunle often relied on them to send customers his way. But lately, their tone around him had changed. He noticed it on a Monday morning. He stepped out early to sweep in front of his shop like always, only to see that the three women who usually sold tomatoes and pepper by his side had moved across the road. He raised his voice. "Mama and Ketchy, you know they sell for here again?" She looked up quickly, then down again. "I just want to try this side small," she said. All three of them avoided eye contact. Kunle looked around. No one was setting up near him. The space in front of his shop used to be prime location, shaded, close to the bus stop, with foot traffic. But now it was empty. Later that day, he went to buy a drink at the corner kiosk and overheard two older women talking. "That Tailor gets strong spirit," one whispered. "Since he entered that shop, everybody just they fear." The other replied, "No be him fault. That shop no pure. Even the one-way day there before am. In. Na so he carry craze come one day." Kunle stood there, pretending not to hear, but his hands were tight on the bottle. Back at the shop, he sat quietly and stared at his sewing machine. For the first time, he didn't feel proud of it. That evening, as he locked up, he saw a small girl standing by the cemetery fence, staring directly at him. She had a school bag and looked normal, but she didn't blink. He raised a hand to wave, more out of instinct than greeting. But before he could say anything, the girl turned and walked straight through the narrow opening in the gate and disappeared into the cemetery. No adult would allow their child into that place after dark. Kunle waited, but she never came back out. He didn't sleep well that night. And in the morning, the tomato sellers were still across the road. By Wednesday afternoon, Kunle couldn't take it anymore. Business was dropping. The whispers were getting louder. Even his regular customers had started making excuses. "I go come next week. Make I ask my sister first. You day busy too much." He knew they were avoiding him, so he decided to go back to the caretaker. The old man was always somewhere around the back of the building, drinking soft drinks and smiling like someone who had never worried a day in his life. When Kunle found him, he was sitting on a low stool, peeling boiled groundnuts with a rusty knife. "Oga caretaker," Kunle began, trying to sound calm. "I want to ask you something." The man looked up and smiled. My tailor with golden hand. How business?" "Business day," Kunle said. "But I notice say some things no too clear for this place." The caretaker kept smiling. "What do you mean?" Kunle hesitated. "You know say since I enter here, some strange things day happen. Customers day drop cloth, dem no day come back. My apprentice run. Some women for market talk say this place get history." The caretaker laughed loud, shaking his head. "Na city we day? People too like talk. But not true be say, why the shop cheap like that? 3 connected shops for main road? Why nobody rent him before me?" The caretaker's smile faded just a little. He leaned forward. "You see this place, many people no get the heart to stay. Some come and go. Others stay longer than expected. The place no bad. Not people day fear too much." "Stay longer than expected?" Kunle asked. The caretaker raised his brow. "I no go tell you lie. The tailor way stay here before you. One day, he just lock shop, carry key, waka. Nobody see him again." Kunle stared. "What'd happen to him?" The old man shrugged. "I no know. Maybe he go village. Maybe he tire. Maybe he enter another line of work. I just day tell you make you no day think too much. Now your own shadow day follow you." He stood up, brushing his trousers. "But if your heart day shake, no open shop tomorrow. Maybe go church. Or go mosque. E day help mind rest." And with that, he walked away, still chewing groundnut like nothing had just been said. Kunle remained there for a long time, alone with his thoughts. He looked back at his shop. Yellow and blue walls. Clean floor. Neat mannequins. It looked fine. But what if the caretaker was right? What if the shop wasn't the problem? What if the real trouble was inside him now? The week had barely started when a wealthy-looking woman arrived in a black SUV and walked straight into Kunle's shop. She was loud, confident, and had a list in her hand. "My daughter's wedding is next weekend," she said quickly. I need 6 dresses for the bridal train, 1 for the chief bridesmaid, and 2 for myself. Can you deliver in 4 days? Kunle hesitated. It was a big order, big money too. Yes, ma. I go work overnight, he said. The woman clapped her hands. Good. I like sharp boys. My driver go bring the fabrics tomorrow morning. I go send measurements on WhatsApp tonight. True to her word, everything came. Rich, shiny fabrics. Expensive lace. Silk. Kunle's shop felt like a mini fashion house that day. Even people passing by stopped to look through the glass. For the first time in weeks, his blood was warm with hope again. He danced while he worked. He changed the music on his Bluetooth speaker to gospel. He even whistled. He didn't sleep for 3 days. He finished every dress. Beautiful work. Neatly stitched. Each piece pressed and wrapped. On the 4th morning, he wore a clean shirt, arranged the outfits in a nylon bag, and headed to the address the woman gave him. When he reached the estate gate, the security man looked confused. Who you say you day look for? Kunle repeated the woman's name. The man shook his head. Nobody like that day this estate. Kunle brought out his phone and dialed the number she had used to call him. Switched off. He tried again. Still off. He showed the man the house number and description. The man shook his head again. This house na empty plot. Nobody day there. Kunle stood still. Sweat rolled down his neck, even though it wasn't hot. He turned and left slowly, the nylon bag heavy in his hands. Back at the shop, he dropped the dresses on the table and sat down. He checked the WhatsApp chat again. Everything was there, messages, voice notes, even pictures. But when he clicked the profile photo, it was blank now. The name had disappeared. The chat was still there, but something about it felt hollow, as if it had never really happened. Kunle sat there until sunset, staring at the dresses. No name. No bride. No wedding. Just silence. Again. The next morning, Kunle didn't open the shop. He sat on the bench in front of it, wearing slippers and a shirt he hadn't ironed. His phone was in his hand, but he wasn't pressing anything. He just stared across the road, eyes fixed on the cemetery gate. Cars drove by. People walked past. The city moved as usual. But Kunle's heart was still. Everything inside him wanted answers. So by noon, he crossed the road. He didn't go into the cemetery. That was never the plan. Instead, he turned right and walked 2 streets down to the old mosque. It was quiet, shaded by tall trees. Elder men sat under the trees, using prayer beads or reading the Quran. Kunle walked up to one of them, a gray-bearded Malam with a wrinkled forehead and tired eyes. People said he had lived in the city longer than the roads. Kunle greeted him, then sat on the floor. I need to ask something, he said. The Malam didn't respond immediately. He looked at Kunle for a long moment. You are the tailor that opened near the dead, he finally said. Kunle's body stiffened. Yes, sir, he replied. What have you seen? Kunle didn't even know where to begin. People bring cloth. I sew. They vanish. I hear whispers in my machine. My apprentice left. Market women day avoid my shop. I see things. Feel things. I know day sleep again. The Malam nodded slowly, almost like he had heard this before. The land where you work has memory, he said. It remembers pain. Some spaces don't want to be disturbed, especially when the living try to make profit so close to silence. I no do anything wrong, Kunle whispered. I just day hustle. Yes, the old man replied. But hustle must come with honor. Kunle blinked. I no understand. Have you prayed inside your shop? No. Have you given charity from your work? He shook his head. Have you cleaned the front with your own hands and spoken peace into that space? Again, he had not. You have power as a man of work, the Malam said. But you treat your shop like it is ordinary. It is not. Any place people gather, dead or alive, must be respected. The words settled into Kunle's chest. The Malam placed his hand on Kunle's shoulder. There is no curse, no ghost, only energy that reflects what you give. Go back. Start again. And this time, lead with dignity, not fear. Kunle nodded slowly. He stood up, thanked the old man, and walked back toward the shop. He didn't have all the answers. But maybe, just maybe, he could take back control, one stitch at a time. It was a bright Saturday afternoon when she walked in. A small girl, no more than 10 or 11, stepped quietly into Kunle's shop. She wore a faded pink dress and carried a plastic bag that looked almost too heavy for her. Her eyes were big, and her voice was soft. Good afternoon, sir. Kunle looked up from the old trousers he was adjusting. Good afternoon, my dear. You lost? No, sir. My sister say make I bring this cloth for you to sew. She say Usabi style. She say na white ankara, gown for Thanksgiving. Kunle smiled, a bit surprised. Most young girls didn't speak so clearly. Where your sister day? She day house. Nami she send. The girl handed over the bag. Inside was clean white ankara fabric with a red ribbon rolled beside it. Folded at the bottom was a sketch, a full drawing of the gown they wanted. Kunle smiled. Usabi draw like this? The girl shook her head. Not my sister draw am. She say make you help us. We go come back by Thursday. She reached into her pocket and brought out crumpled naira notes. Not deposit. She go complete, and when she come. Kunle almost didn't collect the money, but the girl's eyes were too sincere. He nodded and accepted it. Tell your sister say she go like am, he said, already imagining how to cut the sleeves. The girl smiled, thanked him, and walked out of the shop. But something about the moment felt odd. She didn't leave like most people. She didn't look left or right. Just walked straight into the sun, no sound, no noise. Gone. Kunle turned the fabric in his hands. White ankara. Soft. New. He looked at the sketch again. The signature at the bottom said simply, Tommy. That night, he began the gown. He worked slowly, carefully. No rushing. No background music. Just him and the sound of his needle moving up and down. By Thursday, the gown was ready. He ironed it, folded it neatly, and placed it inside a nylon bag. But nobody came. No sister. No small girl. He waited till evening, then remembered to check the address written on the sketch. It was a street name he didn't know, so the next morning he paid a bike man to take him there. But when they arrived, he knew something wasn't right. There was no number 24 on the street. The houses jumped from 22 to 26. Maybe they changed number, he said aloud. He asked two women selling okra if they knew anyone named Tommy on the street. They shook their heads. No small girl day come this side since last year, one said. Kunle stood for a long time. He looked down at the neat nylon bag in his hand. Same pattern. Same silence. And just like that, another gown for no one. By Friday morning, Kunle had had enough. He dropped the gown gently on the table, wiped his face with a rag, and stepped out of the shop. His chest was heavy. His heart beat slowly, like it had gotten used to being disappointed. He walked straight to the back of the compound where the caretaker usually sat under the mango tree, drinking la casera and reading old newspapers from years ago. The old man saw him coming and smiled, as usual. That same smile that annoyed Kunle now more than ever. Tailor of the people, the caretaker said, lifting his bottle in greeting. How market? Na you I come see, Kunle said, not smiling. The old man nodded, like he had been expecting him. You don tire? Kunle folded his arms. Who be all these people way day drop cloth and disappear? Where dem day come from? Why their number no day go again? Why their address no day ever real? The caretaker sipped his drink and didn't answer. Oga, I day serious, Kunle said, voice raised. Tell me now. Something no right. You know something. And I no go keep quiet again. The old man chuckled quietly. You want hear truth? Yes. He placed his drink down carefully. This shop day see things way most shops no day see. Too many stories pass through that building. Some people use them as church before. Some use them as clinic. Some people even sell coffins inside. Kunle's mouth opened slightly. The caretaker continued. When you day so, no be just thread you day use. You day connect people's life, dreams, and sometimes memory. Memory? Kunle asked. The old man nodded slowly. Some tenants leave quietly. Others stay even after they leave. Kunle's throat went dry. So, you know say people no day return to collect cloth and you know talk? I tell you say the rent cheap for reason. Kunle sat down slowly on the nearby bench. So you go just day collect money day watch? I no force anybody, the caretaker said. You see space. You like space. You pay. But I go tell you something. The place no go kill you. Unless you ignore your conscience. Silence fell between them. Kunle looked at the shop through the small path between trees. From where he sat, it looked like a normal place. But nothing had been normal since he entered. I day stay, he said quietly, standing up again. The old man smiled. Then find a way to make peace with the space. And don't forget, no be every cloth you suppose so. Kunle nodded once and walked away. He wasn't sure what that meant. But for the first time, he accepted that he was no longer just a tailor. He was part of something much bigger now. Something deeper. and he had to decide, would he survive it or be swallowed by it? Kunle had always believed in the system, rules, order, the idea that if something was wrong, you report it, and someone would help. So the next day, he went to the local police station. He wasn't sure what he was even reporting. Missing customers? Strange orders? Ghost measurements? Still, he needed to tell someone. At the front desk, a young officer with a wide nose and tired eyes listened as Kunle explained. They come in the night, sir. They leave fabric. They pay, I sew. Then they vanish. No number works. No address exists. The officer squinted. You say customers day vanish? Yes. And dem no day collect their clothes. Their information no day ever makes sense. Another officer sitting behind him muttered under his breath. Not Tailor or Prophet this one be? The front desk officer held in a laugh. Oga, you get CCTV for shop? No. I never install. Any of your neighbors see the people? Not really. Sometimes not late night order. Sometimes not small girl. Or rich woman. The officer leaned back. Oga Tailor, this thing way you day talk no be police matter oh. So make I just day look? Kunle asked, frustration in his voice. The officer sighed. Make I tell you truth? That your shop don't see many tenants. Some way enter before you. No even last 6 months. One man come report long time ago say people day appear inside his fridge. We chase him away. Kunle blinked. But something happened last year, the officer continued. One dry cleaner way use that shop complain say clothes day disappear from hanger. We investigate small, but nothing show. The guy pack leave. So una no fit help? The officer shook his head. Unless you get proof. People day disappear every day for this city. We no fit pursue cloth. Another officer leaned in, his face suddenly serious. But if not that shop near the cemetery, maybe you suppose day careful. That place gets story. What kind story? Kunle asked quickly. The man looked around before speaking low. Them say the land way the shop day before na place way people day drop body back in the war days. Long before city expand reach there. They know bury all well. Some body no even get name. Kunle froze. The officer raised his hand. But no be say make you fear. Not just old talk. My advice, put CCTV. Begin day document everything. If he happen again, bring evidence. Kunle nodded slowly. As he walked out of the station, the city felt louder, hotter, more chaotic. He looked up at the sun, but it didn't feel like light was reaching him properly. The rules of the street no longer applied. And now, he knew, it wasn't just people that went missing. Some stories vanished too. The buzz of the shop was gone. There was no more music playing from morning till night. No more children running to the glass window to point at the mannequins. No more friends stopping by to say, Tailor of life, or Guy, this your shop fino. Now, people passed the shop like it didn't exist. Even those who used to greet Kunle began to walk faster when they reached his side of the road. It was as if the very air around the shop had changed. Thick, quiet, suspicious. One afternoon, a woman stood across the street for several minutes, staring at the shop. Kunle noticed her. She was holding a nylon bag of okra, standing completely still. After a while, she shook her head and walked away. The following day, Kunle sat outside with a stool and tried to talk to a few passers-by. Nobody stopped. By evening, his phone buzzed, a message from Mama Ife, one of his oldest customers. Kunle, a beg no vex. I no go bring my daughter cloth again. My pastor say make I no go that side for now. He stared at the message for a long time. Then, another message came. This time from Delhi, the DJ who used to bring his outfits. Baba, I hear say things no too clean for your shop. A beg make I hold first small. The knife cut deeper. Kunle stood up, stepped inside the shop, and looked around. The dresses were still hanging. The white agbada was still folded. The gown for the mystery girl still lay untouched. It felt like every corner of the shop now held a memory of silence. The yellow and blue walls looked duller. Even the mannequins stood more stiffly, like they too were tired. Later that night, as he sat alone, the caretaker walked by and dropped something at the front door. A small broom and a bottle of holy water. No words, just a slow nod. Kunle didn't ask questions. He locked the shop and sat on the stool outside till midnight, watching the street remain empty. In a city as loud and fast as this, it was strange how the world could suddenly act like you didn't exist. And that was when he finally admitted it to himself. He wasn't running a business anymore. He was surviving inside a story that refused to let him go. Kunle stood in the middle of his shop one morning and made the decision. He was going to leave. He had had enough. Enough of ghost orders, enough of whispers, enough of people avoiding him like he carried a disease. The shop had gone from a dream to a burden. He was ready to move on. He took out a notebook and did the calculations. How much he owed his fabric supplier, the money he had borrowed from 2 friends, the unfinished clothes he would have to refund for. It wasn't pretty. He sighed. The truth was, even if he wanted to leave, he couldn't afford to. Still, he thought, maybe if he could just talk to the caretaker and explain his situation, they could end the rent agreement early. So that afternoon, he found the old man again, sitting by the back, peeling oranges this time. I want to move out, Kunle said directly. The caretaker didn't even raise his head. To where? Anywhere. I know fit continue for here again. The caretaker licked juice from his fingers and finally looked up. So you day run? I know day run. I day protect my peace. The old man smiled. You sign agreement, remember? I fit break him. I know day do again. You sure? Kunle nodded. The caretaker reached into a small leather bag by his side and pulled out a crumpled paper. He unfolded it carefully and handed it to Kunle. Kunle scanned the document. His signature was there. The terms of rent. Monthly amount. Shop number. Then he saw a line he hadn't noticed before. Tenant agrees to occupy the premises for a minimum of 12 months without break, unless shop is transferred to a third party of equal skill. Kunle froze. Equal skill, he asked. The caretaker nodded. You be Tailor. You know fit give shop to person way day sell plantin. You must replace yourself or finish your time. I don't already spend 8 months, Kunle said. I get 4 more. Exactly. Kunle sat down slowly, his knees weak. 4 more months in this place? 4 more months of missing customers, of silence, of shame? He looked around. The breeze had stopped. The air was hot again. He suddenly realized something worse than fear. He was trapped, not by ghosts, not by curses, but by paperwork, by life. And there was nobody to blame but himself. He had rushed for cheap rent. He had ignored the signs. And now, the shop wasn't letting go. Because the door that opened easily was never meant to be easy to close. That Sunday morning, Kunle sat quietly at the edge of his shop, staring at the street with eyes that had seen too much. He had barely slept. The numbers in his notebook refused to make sense, and the weight of 4 more months in the shop pressed heavily on his shoulders. He didn't open for business that day. He just left the shop door open and sat there, shirt unbuttoned, watching the city go about its usual noise. Children ran past. Kiki drivers shouted prices. Life continued, but none of it touched him. Around noon, a soft voice called from behind him. Good afternoon, sir. Kunle turned. A middle-aged man wearing white shirt and black trousers, carrying a Bible, stood there. I be Pastor Nathaniel. I do street fellowship every Sunday. I don pass here many times, but today God say make I stop. Kunle blinked. You want so cloth? The man chuckled. No, sir. I want talk to you. Kunle sighed and stood aside. Enter. The pastor walked in slowly, eyes scanning the shop like he was seeing something beyond the walls and fabrics. He touched one of the mannequins gently, then turned to face Kunle. This place gets something inside, he said. Kunle folded his arms. So I hear. But now you day carry him now, the pastor added. And how you carry yourself go determine how this place go treat you. I just be Tailor. I know Sabi do miracle, Kunle said. You no need miracle, the pastor replied. You need purpose. Kunle frowned. Purpose no go pay rent. The pastor smiled. Purpose go make rent meaningful. He stepped closer. Start small. Clean the front of your shop every morning. Greet everybody. Do one good thing for someone each day, even if not a fixed sip for free. Don't hide. Don't run. Show this place, say you no be afraid. Kunle looked down. You sure say all this go change anything? The pastor nodded. Places carry energy, but people carry more. If you shift, the space go shift. You with surprise, and gave a hesitant smile. Good morning. He did the same for the next person. And the next. Some ignored him. Some smiled politely. One man even muttered, not today, as he hurried past. But Kunle didn't stop. He opened the shop wide, turned on the speaker again, this time playing soft, clean jazz instead of loud party music, and sat by the entrance with a needle in hand, fixing the hem of a young boy's school uniform for free. That was the beginning. By midweek, 2 older women stopped by, not to drop cloth, but to sit on the bench beside his shop and chat about market prices. By Friday, a Kiki driver came to fix the torn sleeve of his uniform shirt. Kunle did it for next to nothing. The word began to spread. The tailor near the cemetery? Him no day to collect money. Him just day try make people fine. And just like that, the shop started to change. Not the walls, not the paint, but the feeling inside. It became warmer. The silence inside didn't feel empty anymore. It felt calm. And then something happened that Kunle didn't expect. One evening, just before locking up, he found a small bag on the doorstep. Inside was folded lace fabric and a small note. I watched you sweep every morning. I saw how you gave that boy water. I lost my husband last year and haven't entered a tailor's shop since. But something told me I could trust you. Please sew this for me. I'll be back. No name, no number, no payment. But this one felt real. Not a ghost order. A real person. A woman grieving, looking for hope through fabric. Kunle pressed the lace to his chest gently. For the first time, he smiled without forcing it. He was still trapped by his rent agreement. He was still behind on bills. But now, he was no longer sewing for strangers that disappeared. He was sewing stories that mattered. One stitch at a time. The following week, Kunle finished sewing the lace dress from the anonymous customer. It was a modest, elegant piece, cream-colored, with soft pleats and detailed stitching around the neck. He handled it with more care than anything he had worked on in months. No rushing. No mistakes. He placed it in a transparent plastic bag and hung it neatly behind his table, unsure when or if the woman would return. But his spirit was calmer. Business was still slow, but slowly, quietly, something had begun to shift. The hairdresser 2 shops away, who used to avoid his gaze, now waved each morning. Children no longer crossed to the other side of the road when passing. Even the old Suya man down the street started bringing him leftover meat on certain nights. Still, the lace customer didn't show up. A week passed. Then 2. Kunle began to wonder if the note was another strange twist in the shop's never-ending mystery. Then one rainy afternoon, a quiet knock landed on the door. He turned. It was a woman in a plain black gown, her eyes red like she had cried too often, and her hands holding an umbrella soaked from the storm. She looked around the shop before speaking. I came for my dress. Kunle's heart jumped. He reached behind the table and handed her the bag. She took it with both hands, gently, like something fragile. It's beautiful, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. You made it just like I imagined. Kunle didn't know what to say. He simply nodded. My husband used to say I looked best in cream. I stopped wearing it after he passed. But I saw you one morning sweeping. You smiled at a child and gave him biscuit. You didn't even know anyone was watching. She paused. That was when I knew you were the one to make this dress. Not because of the fabric, but because of the kindness. She opened her small bag and brought out an envelope. This is your payment. And something extra. For showing me that people still care. Kunle took the envelope slowly. Thank you, Ma. I no go forget this. She smiled softly. Grief is heavy, but small beauty can help carry it. Thank you for giving me a little piece of that. She left, quietly, like rain fading into the evening. Kunle sat back and opened the envelope. The payment was more than double his usual rate. Tears welled up in his eyes, but not from sadness this time. It was from something stronger, something healing. Because he realized at that moment, he was no longer just a tailor. He had become part of people's lives. And for the first time since he opened the shop, he didn't want to leave. The next morning, Kunle did something different. He brought out a small chalkboard he had found behind the shop months ago, cleaned it, and placed it outside near the mannequins. Then, using white chalk, he wrote in large, clear letters. Tailor with a heart. Come in for more than cloth. People slowed down to read it. Some smiled. Some looked confused. But a few stepped closer. By afternoon, a young boy came to fix his school uniform button. Kunle did it for free and gave him a banana. Later, 2 teenagers who passed by daily to mock his mannequins walked in quietly and asked if he could help sew a creative costume for their school drama competition. They didn't have enough money, but they had excitement in their voices. Kunle agreed, charging them only the cost of the fabric. I never do drama cloth before, but we go try, he said. They grinned. That week, things picked up. Not wildly, but meaningfully. Instead of big orders that vanished, he got smaller requests with real faces and honest smiles. An elderly man brought his only pair of trousers, asking Kunle to patch it neatly because it reminded him of his youth. A single mother came with her daughter's church dress, explaining she hadn't sewn anything new in over a year. And slowly, quietly, the shop's identity changed. People no longer called it the shop near the cemetery. They began to call it the shop that listens. One day, a group of local university students walked in with an idea. "Sir, we're starting a small fashion collective, and we're looking for a mentor. Someone who's real, who has tasted failure and still gets up. We heard about you." Kunle stared at them, stunned. "Me? Mentor? Yes. You've built something with your hands. That matters." It was almost laughable. 8 months ago, people crossed the road to avoid his shop. Now students wanted to learn from him. He agreed, and every Saturday afternoon, they gathered in his shop, sitting on plastic chairs, notebooks in hand, listening to his stories about sewing, mistakes, customer walla, and how he once cried over a missing zip. They laughed. They learned. And Kunle, for the first time, began to feel something deeper than pride. He felt purpose. He wasn't just making clothes anymore. He was stitching people's trust back into fabric, one thread at a time. And even though his rent agreement hadn't changed, and 4 months had not yet passed, something inside him had. He no longer felt trapped. He felt planted. On the day Kunle marked his 9th month in the shop, something unexpected happened. The old caretaker returned. It was a quiet Wednesday afternoon. The weather was hot but kind, with the kind of breeze that carried the smell of roasted corn and promise. Kunle was mending a church robe for one of the local choir leaders when a shadow fell over his doorway. He looked up. The caretaker stood there, same wrinkled face, same dry pepper smile. But this time, he held a folded paper in his hand. Kunle wiped his hands and stood. "Good afternoon, sir." The old man nodded, stepped inside, and handed him the paper. Kunle opened it slowly. It was his rent receipt, and beside it a notice. Final 3 months waived. Agreement fulfilled. You are free to leave or stay. His heart skipped. I no understand." The caretaker chuckled. "You understand well. The shop been day test you. But now he don't accept you." Kunle stared at the paper again, still not believing. "You mean, I fit waka now if I want?" "Yes, but you no go want," the old man said quietly. "Because you don't turn this place into more than Tailor shop. You turn him into shelter. People no fear this road again." Small kindness changed the name of the street. He turned to go, but paused at the door. "Not every cheap thing be curse. Sometimes, not test. And you pass am." And with that, he was gone. Kunle sat down slowly. Free. He could move. Start fresh. Finally walk away from the ghosts of his early months. But as he looked around his shop, the chalkboard sign, the mannequins with new clothes, the shelf filled with customers' small thank you gifts, the wall where the student designers had hung their sketches, he knew. He wasn't going anywhere. Not because he was stuck, but because this shop, this cursed, cheap shop beside the cemetery, had become his home. A place where pain met healing, where fabric met dignity, where silence had given way to laughter. And so Kunle picked up his measuring tape, placed it around his neck, and went back to work on the church robe. Outside, the street moved on like nothing had changed. But inside, everything had.